See a year from now oil at $40 a barrel, or I could see it above $150 a barrel. Well, we have two very extreme outcomes. And in my conversations throughout the world with the U.S. government, all that, to me, everybody has to recognize there's not going to be an outcome that's somewhere in the middle. It's going to either be two extremes. Is Iran a country that can be accepted by the international community? Can Iran be a country that participates in the world again? And if that outcome occurred, then you could have the Iranian oil back into the marketplace, alongside the growth of the Venezuelan oil, and you could paint a picture where oil prices could be lower than they were prior to the Iranian war. If there's a cessation of war, and yet Iran remains a threat to trade, a threat to the Straits of Hormuz, then I would argue that we could have years of above $100, closer to $150 oil.
What happens to the global economy if that happens? How do we see it?
We'll have global recession.
The US is essentially energy independent. Should other countries, including the UK, maximize their energy resources, including their oil and gas reserves?
You need to use what you have to provide more abundance in your country. In the UK, you have some solar, you have some wind, you do have hydrocarbons. To me, it is about being pragmatic.
But on oil and gas, use what you've got is the message.
Use what you have, unquestionably, but also aggressively move towards alternative sources too.
It all feels a bit 2007, surging energy prices. We're seeing some cracks in the financial system, particularly in private credit. Mm-hmm. Are those little tremors, before an earthquake? Does this feel very 2007 to you?
I don't see any similarities at all. Zero. 2007 was based on hidden leverage, just gigantic leverage balance sheets. This is not a leverage balance sheet problem. And it was the leverage that was the foundation of the fall of 2008.
We've seen trillions of dollars pumped into AI. When Jimmy Dimon did an interview with the BBC recently, he said a lot of that money might end up wasted. Are we in a bubble? Will a lot of that money be wasted? What do you make of that?
I do not believe we have a bubble at all. That being said, could we have one or two failures in AI? Sure, I'm fine with that. Okay, that's market mechanisms. I believe there's a race for technology dominance. I believe if we do not invest more, China wins.
The current situation in Iran is not actually about Iran. It's about something much deeper. Specifically, it's about our greatest ally is going to annex all of the land in Lebanon south of this river called the Litani River. You know why? Because if you look at the news, the live updates, they're literally blowing up all the bridges on the river so that when they start taking the land, it's much more difficult for the resistance forces to come back across the river and fight them back. So in the end of all this, regardless of who really wins or loses between America or Iran, regardless of how many losses America takes or Iran takes, our greatest ally is going to still get their way. It doesn't matter for greatest ally. Greatest ally is still going to use this situation to take chunks of land that they've always wanted. And you know where this goes even deeper?
Europe, a Hormuz deal. Iran offered the EU transit access through the Strait of Hormuz. Massive, dude. So, if Europe takes this deal, they pay in euros, not dollars. Wow, Iran is really going to try to normalize the Hormuz Strait for every other country and letting them settle in their own currency and not the dollar. This is the destruction of the petrodollar. This is interesting. Wow. Most powerful financial system created in 1974. Yeah, ECB board member Panetta said on April 2nd, even if the Iran war ends, the damage has been done. Deutsche Bank called the Iran war a catalyst for the yuan replacing the petrodollar. They're showing you a war about nuclear weapons and regional security. They're not showing you the real war, which is over who gets to print the world reserve currency. Huh. Says here's the logic. Iran blocks Hormuz for the U.S., opens it for the EU with a deal. EU, desperate and bleeding, seriously considers taking the deal. Deal gets done in euros, not yuan, not dollars. Every country watching BRICS, Global South, Gulf states, they're seeing it happen. If the EU can bypass the dollar, so can we. Dollar demand falls. Reserve share collapses, U.S. inflation rises. You didn't just lose a trade route, you lost the dollar's 50-year monopoly on global trust. Wow. If America is so powerful and the dollar so safe, why is the EU considering a deal with the country America's bombing? Oh. Holy shit. This is no longer just a Middle East war. This is a direct attack on the petrodollar, the system that powers the entire American empire. Prepare accordingly. Wow. I'm so curious what Europe's back channeling. I would be shocked if Europe is starting to get their tankers let through, because Europe now gets to trade and settle in euros, directly in euros, which they have a financial system built for, already. Wow. 5D chess.
Well, I think those clips kind of pretty much clear out everything. We have the big heads of BlackRock telling you where the price of oil is going. So pretty much this news here from the economics, I think that came out in fall 2025, kind of like really predict what was going to happen. 1776, 2026. This is our 250-year anniversary. So there will be a lot of global turmoil and the chart pointing down, everything pointing down. And yeah, this is very ominous about what's happening today. And kind of like sum up in one nutshell of what's going on around the world. Sometimes we see those infographics. It tells us stuff, but sometimes it's kind of hard to see it until it happens. Unfortunately, when you see it happen, it's too late. And we have this reaction with a fear and greed index at an extreme fear right now. And let's see. So you have gold who peaked around January 2028. Now it kind of like bottom around 4,300 around March 26 before Trump made this announcement. This week, I believe it was on Tuesday, in April Fool 1st. And now we have gold creeping back up. As you have gold creeping back up, you may potentially see silver going back up almost the same way. And you have Bitcoin over the past year or so. After it peaked right around October 6th, at the highest peak at 124,766. I think it's just been petering out from here. I believe there's another one last opportunity that it may go up. For me, we'll kind of like investing in a little bit. Once it go up one more time, if it failed to break above that 96,000, I'm just gonna sell. So that's where we stand. What's causing all this fear and greed? So you already know. You have the wood. We have the oil Brent contract for the month of June, which is set at 109, and then for WTI you have 98. So there's a little bit of disparity here, but at some point they are going to catch up. And then once it jump around 120, 150, that's when you will see a little bit of a chaos here. So if you look at the daily graph here for light crude, so we had the high that was made around March 9th. It kind of spiked up and then went down. And I kind of like that particular week. So take the low to this high here. So right now it's trading, well, the high it made today was around 114. This is crazy amazing. So, and then you have the 250% at about $150. So this is kind of like right on par with what Larry Fink said. The price of the oil reaching about $150, and that would cause all kind of pandemonium. I don't see any news that will be positive that will cause price to plunge much lower. If it goes lower and things keep going the way they are, it will be just temporary. It will not be for long. So also we'll take a look at the US 10-year Treasury. It kind of bottom out at around 227. That'll be the day before the invasion of Iran and before everything that happened over there. And then since then, it's been going up and up and up and up. And kind of like take a dive down a little bit where the market come down, thinking that the president is about to make a speech, pull out the truth or the peace plan, but that peace plan did not end up happening, and it started to going back up again, meaning that your mortgage interest rate is gonna go up, the amount of money you borrow to buy a car is about to go up, everything's about to go up, oil is about to go up, which means inflation is about to go up. I mean, everything is about to go sky high, and we create all kind of pandemonium. Yeah, so let's take a look what happened this week. We had the unemployment situation. We had market spiking up here, which is non-farm payroll. As you can see, it was not as consequential as the way it used to be. So price kind of like make a big spike at around 830 and kind of down, and then the market closed at 9:15 a.m. today. We'll resume in this Sunday, April 5th. And then we have to watch out where the oil price open up. But again, so we had about 2 helicopters and 2 airplanes that got shot down today. So yeah, it's a lot going on. So you might see like a gap down on Sunday when price open up on Sunday. Looking into next week, we have FOMC on Wednesday. You already know it's a dual trading strategy, but with everything going on, like everything you would know normally kind of go out of the window, which is why I don't go on live stream anymore, because trading is just much trickier. It's much more difficult. All the levels that you have doesn't get respected or get disrespected massively. And then that dual trading strategy may not even happen on Wednesday, meaning that at 2 p.m. you have price going down, and then at around 2:30, and then price will go up like a V shape. Okay, but that may not happen. And then we have the CPI on Friday at 8:30. That whatever's gonna present there, we will not be surprised. Things kind of like went up by a lot from 2.4 to 3.4. So inflation is ticking up because price of oil is going back up again. So that's what we have going on. Let's take a look at the chart itself. So I did mention last week that price may end up, going back up again, maybe reaching to this midpoint here. And I think it was around, let me see. I had another chart where I said where it was going to go. Yeah, so I spotted it was going to go at around 23,576, but since I ended up overshooting it and got into that gap, and I already knew once you get into that gap, it will spend some time there, and that's actually what ended up happening. So that's kind of like where we are right now. Well, I'm anticipating price may end up going, it's going to spend a little bit of time here on Tuesday, and then starting on Monday. So starting Wednesday, it may end up going down furthermore and accelerate on the downside. I think on Sunday it's going to gap down and then keep accelerating on the downside. So that's what I ended up saying. So another potential scenario could be a gap down, go back up, and then you have a potential rejection block at 24,423, it'll just wick up here and then keep trading down much lower from there. So that's the potential two scenarios that I see: gap down and then keep going lower, or gap down, go back up when the rejection block, and then roll back even lower again. So what would be the scenario that will say, okay, price is gonna go up and keep going up? I mean, even if it go up, even if it's really animated, it will probably go as high as 25, 21. But really, what would be the case for that? I don't see the case for that. So that's my prognostication for this. Be careful. Do not overtrade and trade light on your contract. That being said, I don't think I will be live streaming again next week. I'll probably be coming back the following week, and then I will put the announcement on the community tab. See you guys later.